In this video, we're going to have a look at some calculations involving rates using the dollar per hour rate in our examples. Rates are a measure of how one quantity is changing compared to another quantity. It is normally calculated on a per unit or per item basis. Rates are used in everyday life. So for example, when you're traveling in a car, that speed that car is going, kilometers per hour, is an example of a rate. When you get a job and you're earning a certain amount per hour, that is another example of a rate. Or when you go to the shops and you buy an item and it costs $20 per item, that is another example of a rate. So rates are used very commonly in everyday life. So when we are writing a rate, there are two options. The first is you can write the amount and then use the word per and then the unit that we are finding it in. Or instead of using the word per, you can use a forward slash and then write the unit. So there are the two options for writing a rate. You can either write the word per or use a forward slash. Both are acceptable when writing rates. So let's have a look at an example of a calculation involving rates. So in our first example, James works as a barista at the local cafe and is paid $125 for 5 hours work. And we want to calculate his hourly rate of pay. So looking at the information in the question, we know that James earns $125 per 5 hours of work. So we can use this information to write a rate. So James's pay rate, and that's going to be equal to $125 per 5 hours. Now we want to calculate a rate, not per 5 hours, but per 1 hour. So having a look, to go from 5 hours down to 1 hour, we need to divide 5 by 5. And what we do to one side of the rate, we want to do to the other side. So we need to divide 125 by 5 as well. And once we do that, that will give us an answer of $25. So James's pay rate is $25 per 1 hour. And because the question is in words, our answer should be written in words as well. So James's hourly rate of pay is $25 per hour. So let's have a look at another example using a pay rate in our calculations. So in this example, Matilda earns $18.60 per hour in her part-time job. How much will she earn if she works 7.5 hours? So looking at the question, the key information is that Matilda is earning $18.60 per hour and that she works for a total of 7.5 hours. If Matilda is earning $18.60 per 1 hour, then to work out what she earns for 7.5 hours, we need to multiply it by 7.5. Total pay is going to equal $18.60 times 7.5 or 7.5. And that is equal to $139.50. So because our question is in words, again, our answer should be in words as well. So Matilda will earn $139.50 if she works 7.5 hours. So there are a couple of examples involving the calculations of rates using a pay rate or dollar per hour rate.